Japan has appointed a minister of loneliness. A bomb squad was called to disarm an adorable bag of kittens, and a tenant was ordered to vacate his apartment for howling like a wolf. These are the weird stories for Wednesday on Weird AF News. This is the only daily weird news podcast. I think it's the only daily weird news podcast. Japan has appointed a minister of loneliness. Yes, a minister of loneliness. The position has been created in Japan in order to try to reduce loneliness and reduce social isolation among the residents as the country deals with rising suicide rates during the pandemic. Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga appointed Tetsushi Sakamoto as the Minister of Loneliness. Tetsushi is already a minister in charge of dealing with Japan's declining birth rate. Oh, this guy's got his hand filled with the birth rate declination. Now you're going to give him this new position of loneliness minister? He's trying to get the ladies in Japan pregnant. He's got his hands full right now. Are you sure he can handle this? Now he's going to make sure that they have parties to go to as well and friends. This is tough stuff here. Here's a quote from Suga. Women are suffering from isolation more than men are these days, and the number of suicides is on a rising trend. I hope we can identify the problems and promote policy measures comprehensively. Loneliness has been an issue in Japan for a long time. It's often discussed alongside something called hikikomori. These are people who live in extreme isolation. People have worked to create far-ranging solutions to this issue. Engineers, in an attempt to end the loneliness, have actually designed a robot to hold someone's hand when they're lonely. And one man charges people to do nothing except keep them company. Yes, Weird AF News has covered both of those stories. Yes, the robot hand and the man that got paid to do nothing except keep you company. Yeah, that's how thorough Weird AF News is, by the way. I'm on top of it, especially the weird news coming out of Japan, because it is the weirdest. It is such a strange country. I'm fascinated with it. During the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, with people more socially isolated than ever, Japan, unfortunately, has seen a rise in suicides for the first time in 11 years. It's so bad, so bad. In fact, in October, more people in Japan died from suicide than had died from COVID-19 in all of 2020. In 1 month. That is alarming. Women in Japan, in particular, it says, have contributed to the uptick in suicides. That's terrible. 70% increase. More and more single women live alone in Japan. Many of them don't have stable employment. Yes, a lot of women are not married anymore. They're living alone, isolated. They have to support their own lives, and they don't have permanent jobs. So when something happens, of course, they are hit very, very hard, and they have no one to go to. Japan's new loneliness minister said that he plans to hold an emergency forum the end of February to hear concerns from people dealing with loneliness and isolation. Here's a quote from this guy, Sakamoto. I hope to carry out activities to prevent social loneliness and isolation and to protect ties between people, all people. Ooh, activities. I love that. What's it going to be? Dodgeball? Huh? What do you got up your sleeve, Sakamoto? Some dots? Some candlepin bowling? What activities? I don't know. It's Japan. What do people do in Japan? They play volleyball? Yeah. The United Kingdom was the first country to appoint a loneliness minister in 2018. Did you know that? You have a loneliness minister, you people in the UK. I had no idea. Because a report in 2017 from the UK found that more than 9 people said they often or always felt lonely. Well, in the UK, there's only one solution to that. It's go to the pub. If you're lonely, go to the pub. That's all there is to do. Just go to the pub. You're lonely, go to the pub. Socially isolated, get out of your house and go to the pub. That's why if you're not much of a drinker, you're shit out of luck in the UK. There's only the pub. Well, the article doesn't mention it, but I'm curious to see what the activities that this minister of loneliness in Japan is going to present. I don't know how okay it is to just gather in large groups. I mean, can you play softball? What about Pokemon? A bomb squad was called to disarm a bag of adorable kittens. When specialist Mike Grimes and Detective Deathridge arrived on the scene, they didn't hear ticking. They heard purring, the sheriff's office says in a Facebook post. What happened? Sheriff's deputies in Ohio were called when a suspicious bag was found outside of a church. But what was inside the bag was not exactly what they were expecting. They were expecting a kaboom, a big old bomb. Upon opening the suspicious package, though, the bomb unit from the Butler County Sheriff's Office discovered instead of a big kaboom, instead of dynamite, instead of a bomb, instead of something dangerous, it was a cat and her 6 adorable 1-day-old kittens. Yay! Free kittens for everyone on the scene. You have a free kitten. You have a free kitten. You have a free kitten, Sheriff. You too, Bomb Squad. Here you go, Church. Have 2. Along with the family of felines was a handwritten message written on a paper napkin stating that Sprinkles went into labor the day before. Mom's name is Sprinkles. She began giving birth at 2 p.m. Wednesday, February 17th, according to the note. It's very strange that someone would write the history of Sprinkles on a piece of paper and leave it in the bag. Why not bring Sprinkles to an animal shelter or something? I don't understand this tactic. You put the cat in a bag and you leave it on the church step. It's not a baby. You can't leave it on the church steps. Everybody knows you can leave a baby on the church steps, and they take care of it right away. They raise the kid to be, morally clean. You can always leave a baby outside of church. They'll take it. I've left like 8 babies outside of churches. It's no problem. It's no problem. You know the baby's going to have a great life. Leave it outside the church. They'll take care of it. The cat, on the other hand, who knows? You can't just leave cats outside churches. By the way, have you ever played the card game Exploding Kittens? It's something that I've learned about recently. It is a fabulous card game. You should order it right now. It offers hours of fun and strategy, and it's funny as hell. Imagine Uno on crack with kittens that explode. That is Exploding Kittens in a nutshell. That should be the commercial for Exploding Kittens, by the way. You should totally get high and play Exploding Kittens. What a great way to spend your day. Okay, no more pimping out card games. The sheriff's office took the cat and her kittens. Ooh, where? I want to know if they're okay. To the Animal Friends Humane Society in Hamilton, where they are, quote, warm, cozy, and fed. Oh, that's lovely. The animal shelter gave an update on their Facebook post on Friday that the kittens have received some baths. Because unfortunately, when they were in the bag, they got soaked in their mother's urine. Sprinkles peed on them. My goodness. Well, at least they saved them from that urine. Sprinkles, purring throughout it all, received her vaccines and blood tests and appears to be in good health, according to the Facebook post from the animal shelter. She's doing a fantastic job nursing and caring for her new babies, and all 7 will be placed with their foster family this afternoon. The shelter plans to provide regular updates on Sprinkles and her kittens on Facebook as they grow and mature over the next couple months. So, look at that. A Weird AF News happy ending story. Just love that. I'm not really like a cat person, but, I don't want anything bad to happen to the kitties, I want to get them a good home. Just get the cats in a good home, man. I'm so grateful they didn't explode. Just don't know if I can handle some real-life exploding kittens. Only the card game is really all I can handle when it comes to exploding kittens.
You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man.
Yay! A tenant is ordered to vacate an apartment for howling like a wolf. A tenant was ordered by a judge to move out of his apartment in the expensive Amsterdam Zuidas due to multiple noise complaints from his neighbors. Some of his neighbors could not await the court order and already moved out a couple months ago. Wow, they just couldn't deal with him howling like a wolf. The man is accused of making, quote, loud, frightening cries and at times sounding like a howling wolf. Well, why? Something must be going on. Does he have some sort of mental disability? Is he on the greatest drugs, having the best sex of his life? Let's find out. At the beginning of last year, the tenant admitted that the accusations were in fact true. Yes, I do. I howl like a wolf. Would you like to hear it? No, sir, we don't want to hear it. Are you sure? Ow, werewolves of Amsterdam. Ow. I thought that was good. No? Me? Just me? Okay. Sorry for the bad jokes, guys. It says at the beginning of last year, the tenant admitted He howls. During the preliminary hearings, it was revealed he also suffered from vocal tics caused by a psychological disorder. Yes, of course. He underwent treatment in a psychiatric facility and began taking medication. Well, isn't there a place for him then? Can't you keep him in a hospital or something? A soundproof room? I don't know. That's really not a humane thing to do. I don't know what you do about this. Let's read more. For a while, it seemed as if the situation had calmed down. He wasn't howling like a wolf so much, except for on the full moon. However, a few weeks later, neighbors reported noise complaints to the police 13 times within 3 days. Soundproof walls installed in April of 2020 also did not help alleviate the situation. Wow, they installed soundproof walls. Where, in his place or the neighbor's place? In October, the housing corporation asked the gentleman to move out of the apartment. This was not possible at the time because of the pandemic and the tenant appealing that he wanted to continue living in the neighborhood. Yeah, the poor guy is being asked to leave. Unfortunately, no matter what neighborhood you go to, sir, you're howling like a wolf. If you were in Japan, you would show up on that noisy neighborhood website. Click on the icon. It's a wolf face. Oh, there's kids playing in this area and a man howling like a wolf in this area. That's a callback from yesterday's episode. Guys, really try and keep up. Multiple residents sold their apartments and moved out of the building. Whoa, boy, this guy must really be squealing like a pig. In January, after complaints from residents that the tenant was back in full force, they took the case to court. A judge ruled that due to the situation not showing any improvements, the tenant has to vacate the premises. I feel terrible. They don't name this guy, but this poor guy, he has a psychological disorder. He has a tic. Maybe he has... what's that condition where you scream uncontrollably? Tourette's? Maybe he has something like that. It doesn't name that particular disorder, but it sounds like it's a relative to that disorder. The guy can't control himself. He just has a form that's sort of manifests itself in the howling of a wolf, which is pretty scary. I think the only place for him is in the forests. If he lives somewhere in a log cabin, among other people, not isolated, but other people who live in a forest who are used to wolves howling. They're used to the sounds of the nature and wildlife. I mean, that would be a place that he could be embraced, I think. I don't know how you solve this problem. I feel terrible for people like this. What do you do? Maybe you could just drop him off in a den of wolves and have him live with some wolves. They'd probably embrace him like he's family. I don't know, guys. I can't solve all the world's problems in here. I'm just reporting some news. Just help me out here. And I'm hungry like the wolf. Who sings that? Duran Duran? Nailed it. I want to give some love to people that reached out to me on the gram. They hollered on the gram, guys. The Instagram. Phil Hanley. He wrote, Jonesy, Weird AF News has become part of my morning routine before slugging away all day, sitting on my arse, staring at a computer screen. Saturday mornings have become my highlight of the week because of Florida Fridays. Huge love from South Wales, UK. Phil Hanley, crushing it in the UK, guys, these days. A lot of fans in the UK. Love my UK fans. Thank you so much. Also, who else here? Sally Dixon. She wrote, hey, from Wales. Oh, Sally's from Wales. Shit, Sally, do you know Phil? Phil Hanley? Wow, on the same day. 2 people from Wales. This is tremendous. Hey, from Wales. Well, maybe she's from Wales and Phil's from South Wales, so maybe there's no connection there. Sally wrote, wanted to drop you a quick message as I'm a big fan of the podcast. Your news is the only news worth listening to these days. Thank you, Sally Dixon. That makes me feel so nice that you would say that my news is the only news worth listening to. Maybe one could make the argument, maybe finance news, right? Because we got to make sure that we're investing our stonks, right, guys? We got to know what to do with our bitcoins, guys, right? You guys all have bitcoins laying around, right? No, just me. I just got bitcoins coming out my ears, guys. They're just bouncing all over my floors. Bitcoins everywhere. Jokes, guys, jokes. Not a good one, but they're not all zingers. Okay, what do you expect? Okay, it's a free podcast. Okay, lower the bar. Once again, big shout out to Phil and Sally and all my fans in the UK and all of the listeners, all the loyal listeners and fans of Weird AF News all over the world who have reached out to me, who've given me articles about kittens and people howling like wolves. Yes, yes, it's been very helpful, all of the articles you've sent me. I really appreciate it. This is my old British man accent, which I have been working on very diligently. That's right. That's right. I howl like a wolf. I've been evicted. Yes, it's not my fault, I've lost my mind clearly, but this is what working full-time and doing a 5-day-a-week podcast will do to you. There isn't enough coffee in the world, guys, to keep me going, I'll tell you. What did I want to say? Oh, I posted some really great articles on the Patreon yesterday. So if you're on there, please dig in. They're pretty funny. They're fascinating. They're cool. They're good. I thought they were weird. I thought you might find them interesting. So if you would like to also partake in those articles and the lovely group of supporters that we have in there, which are numbering around 100, big-time fans of Weird AF News in the Patreon, you too can join the Patreon. Patreon.com/WeirdAFNews. Get access to this extra content and have that good feeling of helping out Jonesy, which is nice. A nice thing to do. If you'd like to send me some nice messages like Sally and Phil has done, all the way from Wales and South Wales, respectively, you can go to Instagram @FunnyJones and send me a what's called a DM. And I'll really appreciate that. It's nice to hear from you. You could give me a compliment, or you can tell me that you're annoyed by my voice, which I've heard many times. Either one is fine. But do something with yourself. Stop sitting on your thumbs. Man.